Hi everybody, it's Mairi Moibeal from Mairi Moibeal Healing Services. I was surprisingly shocked at the amount of people that reached out to me when I posted that I got the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. And so a lot of people had questions about how I felt about it, because it's an interesting deck. The way that it's set up is a little bit different than other oracles. The cards are circle, which is freaking awesome. So a lot of people have questions. So I wanted to hop on here really quickly and just kind of give a very generic, because I haven't even done a reading with them yet, overview of how I feel about the deck so far. And then obviously as I get into it more, I'll, update anybody as we go. So this is the deck by Kim Krans. And so far I absolutely dig it. So my husband is familiar with archetypes. He has studied them separately. I am not so familiar with them. He has talked to me about them, and I've learned a little bit about them that way in my own research. But I really wanted this deck. I wanted it for a long time, and I've wanted to use it as a way to learn about archetypes within myself, and then also into our sessions and providing you with the guidance of the archetypes as well. So I'm very excited to get into all of that and that learning. So first of all, I love the packaging. It's expensive, and I hate buying expensive decks for a lot of reasons, but this there are multiple reasons why we got this deck, and I love it and I appreciate it. And I am also very aware that I was privileged enough to be able to afford an expensive deck that has all of this extra stuff that isn't needed, right? So it has this super beautiful packaging, and you open it up, and there's, inside you have, this space for the book and the deck to go. The packaging on the inside, it's not super expensive, so it's coming up a little bit in the corners and that kind of stuff, but you just have to take care of it. And this will be one of those decks that, some of my decks I have just laying out. This is a deck that I'll have, I'll keep it in its box kind of thing. So you just have to take a little bit more care of it. But overall, it seems to be made pretty well. So I would highly recommend, before getting into the tarot readings and connecting with the cards, to really take a look at the guidebook. The guidebook is super stellar. I absolutely love it so far. Kim goes into detail about how she got on this journey, and you can hear through her conversation and through her dialogue that she's not comfortable taking credit for this information coming through. Like, she legitimately is the medium, the tool that's bringing the knowledge. And I love when I can see that in other psychics and intuitives and artists. But anyway, that's a complete side note. But she really does a good job with going into detail on why she chose the archetypes that she chose, and why she kept out some of the very popular archetypes. Like, this deck doesn't have a hero or a heroine, which are very, very popular archetypes. So she goes into why the message was coming to her that it just wasn't the time right now to have those in the deck. So it's just interesting for me to recognize where that's coming from. And then also, she gives you information about archetypes. If you're not familiar with them at all, she gives you the information that you need to be able to really tap into that information and intuition source. So I love the guidebook. I love the way that she has set up. So each of the cards has this type of setup in the book. So let's get to the cards, because it's a whole thing. So these are the cards. my first circular deck, and I absolutely love them. So shuffling is probably going to be the biggest downfall for people, because I know in a lot of the groups and the conversations that I have, shuffling is one of the biggest ways that people find that they can connect to their decks. And everybody has specific ways that they shuffle and specific ways that they connect to their decks. And if shuffling is the way that you connect, and you struggle with shuffling these, then you're going to struggle with connecting with this deck. But again, there are many other ways that people connect to decks. So that being said, I have large hands. They're on the larger spectrum of hand size. And so I don't have a problem shuffling these cards. I'm a hand thrower, and I'm not going to do it now because I took entirely too long getting these in order for the spread that I'm going to do. But I don't have trouble. But again, I have large hands. So that definitely plays a role in this. If you have smaller hands, you may struggle hand shuffling, hand throwing these cards. So for the cards in general, the cardstock is good. It's thick. It seems to bend malleably. So it doesn't seem to crease too easily. It's a thick deck. There's 78 cards, but each card is thick. So, it in turn is pretty thick. The art is interesting. I'm not normally a fan of that, like, I don't know if it's modern when you have like all kinds of different like cut out pieces of stuff and you put it into a collage. Like, I'm not a huge fan of that art in general. I can see it and appreciate it, but it's not something I would normally pay for. However, this deck brings that kind of style in, merged with the art in the Wild Unknown Tarot that she put out, that hand-drawn style, which I love. And so she merged the two. So like, for instance, she has the hand-drawn style around the edge, and then in the middle, she has that cut out, piece in the middle there. And for some reason, I dig it. I think it's super groovy. Like this card that I just popped up, like, goofy, groovy, awesome. I totally dig it. I'm kind of low-key obsessed with it. Like, they're just cool cards. So anyway, I'm really excited. 8 minutes of me jabbing about how excited I am to learn more about these cards. And I don't really feel like I told you much about them, but that I love them so far. And I'm very appreciative. And yeah, if you have any specific questions, just let me know. And I can come back to it and answer. So that's all I know. I hope you guys have a great day.